A Brazier had a little dog, which was a great favorite with his master, and his constant companion. While he hammered away at his metal, the dog slept. But when, on the other hand, he went to dinner and began to eat, the dog woke up and wagged his tail, as if he would act for a share of his meal. His master one day, pretending to be angry and shaking his stick at him, said, "You wretched little sluggard, what shall I do to you? While I am hammering on the anvil, you sleep on the mat, and when I begin to eat after my toil, you wake up and wag your tail for food. Do you not know that labor is the source of every blessing, and that none but those who work are entitled to eat?" You are now listening to Giami Journey Radio. This is a Heart of a Symbol production. Where we strive to blow up your old paradigms. All right. So now we had excellent story. This is, of course, Folktales for Grown Folks. I am Brother Hatim, and I'm reading one of Aesop fables. And this one is from it's translated by George Fowler Townsend. Just so that y'all know, all of the ones that I use are translated by George Fowler Townsend. Is a complete original translation from the Greek. So here we go. The name of the story is The Brazier and His Dog. Not the Brazier, but Brazier or Brazier. I guess it's somebody that worked with brass. Has something to do with hammering metal. And he has a favorite dog, and he takes care of the dog, as we can see in the story. But the lesson is not necessarily for the dog, because they say in the story that he points a stick at the dog and in jest and in playing, he tells the dog some key words that I think is important for all of us on the journey, right? He says, labor is the source of every blessing, and that none but those who work are entitled to eat. Now, we have a lot of people around us that want to eat off our plate without putting in any labor. We got plenty of people that's understand this fact that the source of every blessing is labor. You know what I'm saying? We have to put some work in. We got to have some type of work ethic. You know what I'm saying? Whether that labor is in practice or whether that labor is in actual doing. You know what I'm saying? The universe will run to you to assist you in whatever it is you want to do once you start working towards it. The labor brings about the blessings. It's not the praying. It's not the meditating. It's not the sitting still and waiting on destiny. It's getting out and doing. And we have to start instilling this not only in our children, but we got to start instilling this into ourselves so that we understand that if we want our dreams to come true, because many of us are not the Brazier in this story. Many of us are the little dog where we sitting and we waiting, and when the work starts, you know what we doing? We sleeping. You can see this all throughout the community. You got individuals that's just, it's almost like they waiting for some miracle, waiting for some magic moment, waiting for some great destiny to come and sweep them up, like they are living a comic book existence and they're going to get granted some superpower, or they got some rich relative that they waiting for to die, when in fact they have absolutely nothing coming, because they're just like that little dog. And as long as they lay at the feet of their masters, and this is an excellent analogy for the situation that a lot of black folks are in. Now, I'm speaking directly to my people. Listen to me. Listen, a lot of us are like that little dog sitting at our master's feet. You know what I'm saying? Waiting for him to finish the work, and then we're going to feast off the table. We're going to feast. We think we're going to feast off the table. But every now and then they play with us and point their stick at us. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they're not playing with us and they point the stick at us. And we have to change our mind state. We have to move from being the dog to being a brazier, the one that's doing the work. You know what I'm saying? Because I will always prefer to be the master, because when I'm the master, I have the ability to control my destiny. You know what I'm saying? I have some say-so in my destiny, but that little dog doesn't have much say-so in his destiny. No matter how much he licks his master's face, no matter how well he warms his feet at night, no matter how close he sits to him, no matter how much affection he gives his master, if a turn in life happened, the master and the dog is out. The dog adds nothing to the equation. As a matter of fact, you could take the dog out the equation and the master will be sad for a while, but the master will still be able to produce. The dog is adding nothing. And the picture that came to my mind when I was reading this story is it's like a little toy dog. It's not even a guard dog. So this dog is, other than making this man happy and maybe chasing some mice every now and then, is really serves no major purpose. And for those of us that want to make a change in our life, for those that want to make a change in their community, for those that want to make a change in your children's lives, you have to be the laborer. You have to put the labor in. I'm doing some research now, and I'm reading some magnificent stories that I'm going to bring about leadership. And this is from actual history or actual accounts that I'm bringing about. And one of the things that I'm noticing, that the ones that always get noticed are the ones that are able to work. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't always just about the sweat of our brow. Sometimes it's about us being smart enough to maximize on other people's work, help other people see where their talents are and get them to focus on that so that we can help them get to where they want to go, right? So now, the main piece that I want you to take away from this story is this last part right here. Do you not know that labor is the source of every blessing, and that none but those who work are entitled to eat? You know what I'm saying? Because the master, like I said, he got tired. You know what I mean? Just think about it. He playing with the dogs. I just want y'all to understand that, for all those animal lovers out there. And plus, it's a fable, so it really don't matter, right? But the bottom line is that the master noticed one day that every time he get up and he start doing the hard work, guess what the dog was doing? The dog was on a comfortable mat sleep. The master's in front of the heat. He's banging his hot metal, possibly burning his hands, doing all this work. And when it's time to eat, guess what? The dog is up. Some of us got friends and relatives just like that little dog, sitting around us, wanting to sponge off of us like we owe them, when in fact we're feeding them at our leisure. And anybody that's in that situation, you ought to feel uncomfortable about that, because at any given time he could throw that dog out. The dog really serves no purpose. The dog serves no purpose. Don't protect the house. It sleeps all day. I mean, it serves no purpose. And many of us allow our existence to drop down into a useless existence, waiting for a blessing, when blessings are bought by the labor that we do. The labor. And think about that. Labor, if it don't hurt, it's not labor. Whether it's a thinking labor, whether it's a working labor, because think about it. That's what we call the process when a woman is about to give birth. She goes into labor. It's painful, and she has to work to get that baby out. And many of us don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. We don't want to do it mentally. We don't want to do it emotionally. We don't want to do it physically. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to labor. But in order to attract the blessings to us, we got to labor, because what that does is like putting ourselves in a fire and allowing ourselves to be melted down, because that labor produces that heat and it produces something in us. Let's say it produces an odor. It produces a spirit in us that attracts to us what we need. All right. So when we looking at these folktales, man, I keep telling you, man, I tell you, listen to me. These folktales are not just for kids, yo. They wasn't created for kids. I want you to understand the time frame that these folktales come out. These folktales were used to educate adults about life. We have cornered them and pushed them off and made them so that they're just for kids. But no. The original folktales was used to teach people life lessons. And boy, have we been getting, those of you that's been following us on Folk Tales for Grown Folks, we've been getting some lessons. So I'm going to close out, but I got to share some information with you. Check this out. Be sure to follow Giami Journey on Facebook, Google Plus, and Twitter. Check us out. Join the journey. Support the journey. We need your feedback as well as your input. If you have an MP3 that you would like to send in to be broadcast over one of the shows, feel free to send it to Hatim, HA2TIM at GiamiJourney.com. You are now listening to Giami Journey Radio. This is a Heart of a Symbol production. Where we strive to blow up your old paradigms.